Mario side-scrolling adventure started in 1985 with the original Super Mario Bros. Along with all of his 3D adventures, there have been a plethora of 2D games. So in this video, I'm going to rank all 11 2D Mario games. Obviously, as mentioned before in previous videos, this is just my opinion, so you can disagree with me in the comments. Alright, let's get into it. First off, we have the one that started it all. This game saved the entire video game industry from the video game crash of 1983, and it is considered legendary. However, I'm still gonna rank it compared to the other games, despite the conditions and it being the first in the series. For the good, Super Mario Bros. Is a great game. It's a great side-scroller with amazing ideas, such as power-ups that let you grow big and shoot fireballs, or memorable and fun enemies, such as Goombas, Koopas, and Piranha Plants. There are also cool level gimmicks, such as warp pipes, big vines, and blocks. There are also hundreds of secrets and one-ups to explore and find. But there are some bad things about this game. The physics are super weird, and Mario almost locks in place when he jumps. The castles, themes, and Bowser fights also get repetitive after a while. This game is a bit of a mixed bag for me, so it gets a B tier. Now we have the Japanese sequel, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This game was only released in Japan on an obscure console extension called the Famicom Disk System. This game is terrible and stupidly sadistic. First of all, for a sequel, this game does absolutely nothing. There are no new sprites, the level themes are the same, and the music is ripped straight from the original. The game was also made to be extremely difficult. So difficult that sometimes it's just straight up unfair. There's now a poison mushroom that kills or downgrades you. The levels are also much harder, with more enemies, fewer power-ups, and wind. However, sometimes the game is just downright unfair. A large majority of the levels force you to find random hidden blocks, or take random paths to progress. Forcing people to find random things distracts from the point of being good at platforming, such as jumping around like a psycho until you find something. Sometimes you also have to jump on enemies to get across, and sometimes in the wind. This game lets you at least play as Luigi, but he's much more difficult to play as, and they scrapped the 2-player mode. This Lost Levels is sadistic, and doesn't do anything a sequel should. You should never feel obligated to play this, D tier. Now we have the real Super Mario Bros. 2, or Super Mario USA known as in Japan. This game is technically a reskin of another game called Doki Doki Panic, but I don't care. This game is amazing. It has a lot of crazy and fun ideas. Instead of jumping on enemies, you can pick them up and throw them, which is pretty cool. And instead of blocks, you can find these potions that lead to a sub-area with a mushroom and coins. This might actually be better, as you can also find extra secrets and warps, if you know where to place the potion. Also, this time, there are actually multiple bosses, such as Wart and Meowser, instead of the same Bowser fight 8 times in a row. This game also has 4 different characters, and they all control differently. Mario's completely balanced, Luigi has a higher jump, Toad is extra fast, and Peach has a small hover. This game is fantastic, but the reason people don't talk about it is because it's so different. But back then, game sequels were usually much different, such as Zelda 2 being completely different. This game gets A tier. To close out the NES trilogy, we have Super Mario Bros. 3, which is a massive improvement compared to the other 2 games, and it adds a ton of things. There are plenty of new and fun power-ups, such as the Raccoon Leaf, Frog Suit, and Hammer Bros. Suit. This game also has a fully fledged world map with different paths and several secrets to discover. This is also the first game in the series where you can store several items, and you're going to need that for how difficult this game is. However, unlike the Lost Levels, this game just hits the right level of difficulty, where it's fair, but pretty hard. I could even beat World 8, but that just might be a skill issue. There are also several new enemies and level items that would be used for the rest of the series, such as the iconic P-Switch item. This game is also really satisfying with the physics for some reason. P-Speed just feels like the perfect way to gain momentum, and it can be used for a lot of gimmicks, and it just feels so nice to use and play with. There are many more good things about Super Mario Bros. 3, so we'll get an A tier. Now we have Mario's first handheld entry, Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. This game is underrated, but definitely not that good in my opinion, which sounds weird, but let me tell you. This time we're in Sarasa Land trying to rescue Princess Daisy, and on this adventure they changed many things that should not have been changed. Mario's physics are extremely weird, and they brought back the whole locking in place thing from the original. The Fire Flower has also been replaced by a Super Ball Flower. Super Mario Land is also really short. You can beat it in under an hour casually, because it only has 12 extremely short levels. Also, because this game was on the Game Boy, the screen is completely dark and the music is so crunched. This game is boring, weird, and small, so it gets a C tier. Jumping onto the SNES, we have Super Mario World. This game is amazing in my opinion, and I beat it several times. This game adds a whole lot to the table as well. First of all, introduce Yoshi, who has a variety of abilities, such as eating enemies, spitting them out, growing wings, and just being a cute little dinosaur. There are also 2 new power-ups in the form of the Feather Cape and P-Balloon. The Feather Cape allows you to glide and fly if you time it right, and the P-Balloon allows you to fly slowly, but you're very vulnerable, and I still have trauma from Tubular. But thankfully it's only at 4 levels. This game also introduced the idea of secret exits and special worlds. Secret exits reward players who explore, and they're hidden fairly, and they can lead players to secret areas, shortcuts, and eventually the special world. The special world has some of the hardest challenges in Mario history, and they're highly rewarding to beat. For the gameplay, Mario controls almost perfectly, and we get even more enemies and level gimmicks. There are over 80 levels to play with a massive world map. This game is amazing, so it gets the first S tier. Now we have another underrated game, Super Mario Land 2. This game feels like a fever dream compared to the first game. This is the first game to introduce Wario, and this time he's the main villain. And Mario has to take back his mansion by collecting the 6 golden coins from 6 completely unique bosses. There are several zones throughout Mario Land, and where these bosses lie, and they are extremely creative. There's a turtle zone, a Mario zone, a space zone. This game also introduced the carrot power-up that allows you to glide or fly if you're a good button masher. This game also improves a lot from the original Mario Land. The sprites are much better, there's a lot more levels, more enemies, there's even secret exits now, and much better bosses. Super Mario Land 2 is an underrated gem, so it will get A tier. After a 14-year drought, 2D Mario got revived with New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, and I absolutely love this game. This game was essentially the transition from 2D Mario Classic Edition to 2D Mario Modern Edition. This game has many creative ideas. And to start off, there's 3 new power-ups. The Mega Mushroom, Mini Mushroom, and the Blue Shell, with a variety of cool abilities and gimmicks. This game also has Mario's 3D moveset, which feels so nice and makes a lot of potential for levels. There's also a brand new collectible, Star Coins. These are fun collectibles that can unlock secret paths. But my favorite thing about this game is the bosses. The game has the most creative bosses in any 2D Mario, such as a Thunder Lakitu, a Monty Mole in a tank, or a massive fish chomper. This game is already amazing, but if that wasn't enough, there are extremely fun mini-games from Mario 64 DS, and amazing versus mode that I have so much fun with my friends. This game gets an S tier. Moving on to a home console, we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This game was a successor to the DS game, and it did really well at that. Just like last time, there are 3 new power-ups, the Propeller Suit, Penguin Suit, and the Ice Flower, and they're just as fun as the DS power-ups. But the most important thing about this game is, you guessed it, multiplayer. Now all 4 players can play together on the couch and throw each other off the map. It is the most chaotic thing you will ever experience, and it is extremely fun. And it led to other games such as 3D World having it. But also, there is now a special world, and besides some new level gimmicks, this game is basically the same as the DS games. But there are also some hit movies that are cool to watch, so this game gets A tier. Now we have a controversial one, New Super Mario Bros. 2. This game was a bit weird, being called the second entry despite the fact that it's the third one, but I understand what they were going for. This game has a massive theme on coins, with a billion ways to collect them. The only new power-up is a golden flower that turns bricks into coins. There's even a brick block you can mash into your head, and there's even gold rings. There is even also a gold rush mode solely focused on collecting more coins, but this game's main issue is its creativity. The game changes almost nothing compared to the other games. The music, for example, has about 40 tracks, and guess how many are original? 4! Only 4! Also, the levels are less original. For example, the mushroom levels had gimmicks in the last game, like tilting or launching you, but now they're completely still here. The story is the same, the levels are similar, and besides the Tanuki Leaf and Gold Flower, the power-ups are the same. This game is still fun, but it doesn't change anything, so B tier. Our second to last game is New Super Mario Bros. U, and I'm gonna count this along with New Super Luigi U and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This game gets quite a lot of hate, but it is pretty great. People always complain that this game also has a creativity issue, but it isn't as severe as New Super Mario Bros. 2. This game has a connected world map this time, just like Super Mario World. There's also an amazing power-up in the form of the Acorn Suit, which allows you to glide and get an air boost. And just like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, there's 4-player multiplayer, so you get the same chaotic experience. But the main thing I want to talk about this game is the challenge mode. Not many people realize this exists, however, these are so fun. Some examples include climbing a mountain with a mini mushroom, dodging fire bros for as long as you can, or chaining stars and killing as many enemies as possible. These challenges are almost as good as the main game. This game overall is underrated, so it'll get A tier. Now we have the latest 2D Mario game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is the second time 2D Mario was revived, and this game is amazing. It is a completely fresh start for the series, and it's bursting with creativity. This time we're in the Flower Kingdom, trying to stop Bowser, who turned into a castle. But this game's main gimmick is the Wonder Flower, which drastically changes the level. These are the most creative things I have ever seen in a video game. Examples include literally changing dimensions in the walls, bouncing on giant hippos in space, or singing with piranha plants. This really changes how you play the game each time you play, which is one of the best traits a video game like this could have. Even without the flower, the levels are really creative, such as racing a lake wheeler, bouncing on music tracks, or those batch challenges. Also, there are 3 new power-ups as well. The elephant fruit turns into an elephant and makes you strong, the bubble flower lets you blow bubbles and bounce on them, and the drill mushroom lets you drill into the floor. Another thing is that there is 12 different characters, which is absolutely insane. Jumping from 4 characters to 12 feels magical, let me tell you. The last thing I want to talk about are the badges. Badges give Mario a range of abilities, such as gliding with his hat, running like Sonic, or becoming literally Spider-Man. Mario Wonder is amazing, so we'll get S tier. And with that, our tier list is complete. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I spent a lot of time on it. If you could, please like and subscribe, as it helps me out a ton, but it's completely optional. Alright, bye.